Before we get there, Reverend Bill, I wanted to ask you. I'm curious. This connection that you have with Babaji, is this from a? I mean, I'm guessing obviously you have a past life connection with him. Then is that something that you know about, or we
Without
can guess that?
revealing why I would say that, the answer is yes, but why I'd rather not discuss. But yeah,
Okay.
uh, there are some things that it sounds like I say everything. Yeah, I remember Bill tells everything. I tell thousands of stories, like, but I really, really don't. There's so many spiritual secrets and mystical things that I don't talk about at all, or I downplay, or I just avoid.
Yeah,
And
that's
one would think
understandable.
I got so many, right? I mean, I even
Yeah.
surprise myself that I'm able to. But there's some things that are just bigger than you and I, and no, I can't reveal this. It's not right for this. And I wrestle with that all the time because I meet people, yourself and others, and I will see something and I'm going, I can't tell them.
Yeah, that's understandable. Just
I can
curious,
the information or to help you. And anyway, yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
do have a past life connection. And in your understanding, at least for the audience, how do you mentioned that, he's not just an avatar, he's a much bigger, a greater being. How do you what's your understanding of Mahavatar Babaji?
Okay, because if you talk to, because I've talked to, God, when I was in the Himalayas, when I was traveling around India, everybody's got a view on Babaji. I mean,
Mhm.
it's, and depending on where they're at, it's like the old story of the blind children with the elephant. Somebody's holding the trunk, somebody's holding the tail, somebody's got the ear. Oh, the feet, they got the feet, the rough skin. So everybody thinks they know what the elephant looks like. That's Babaji. So somebody's holding this or that. And so they're not lying, but from their point of spiritual view, this is what they see. And they're being real. This is what
Mhm.
is that elephant bigger than they'll ever realize. What my perception, I'll tell you what my perception is. And again, what proof do I have? When the Earth, our solar system and our Earth were created, and it's always in the now. I know I get tired of saying that, but let's just say there's time and space, because to create this world, we had to have time and space. Babaji was given this domain. This is his, the spiritual evolution of this planet here, and perhaps others. This planet is responsible for uplifting it and spiritually evolving it. That includes the plants, the animals, us, the planet itself. People realize the planet itself has a spirit. That's a strange thing to say that come out of nowhere. But anyway, the planet itself is a spirit. And his energy fuses all this, from the basic gases and the volcanoes and the lava and the bubbling oceans and all that, to where we're at now. But he's always been there. And he came to this, and here's where everybody's got their own biblical translation of this, from the end times to Revelations. 144,000, Babaji supposedly came down with 144,000 helpers, and they periodically incarnate. There's something I hear from anybody else. Periodically, they incarnate into this world, time and space, and then they go rest. But there's always somebody there that's helping the planet evolve. Now, actually 144,000, that's a symbolic number. I've just thrown it out to you. This is what come to me in dreams and visions and other things, and from awareness. So these people periodically come back, and they're on Babaji's team, and they become the hands and the operation of some of the stuff that needs to be done. But their job is spiritual evolution of the planet. Now, there's other groups, and I talked about this when I talked about my rainbow body experience, because I was part of a rainbow that was dealing with planetary spiritual development. But there's also groups of souls, other rainbow bodies out there that are dealing with science, medicine, philosophy, music, all these aspects that make humans evolve. Because even music is, without music, where's our soul? I mean, music is a part of us, right? And these great people came in, Mozart, Beethoven, whatever, right? And in science, you get these giants that come in and advance the civilization. But everything is going in accordance as it's supposed to. And as we evolve greater capacity to receive, Our brains have changed. We're not the same brain we had 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, whatever. And we also have to realize that great civilizations have come and gone from this planet. We have evolved, and we devolved, and we evolved, and we devolved, and we evolved. I believe, depending on who you talk to, this is either a fourth or the fifth root race, and they can be missing one, who knows? So we've been destroyed 4 or 5 times. We've gone to that whole Yuga cycle, and we reached this. And right now, and you're more familiar with this than I am, we're kind of starting to raise again. We're getting ready to change yugas, whatever they're called, and that's why we got all this stuff going on right now. It's really kind of dicey out there. It's like you got to break the eggs to get. You got to break the shells to get the egg, right? Yeah. So we're kind of breaking a lot of shells. We're destroying the norm. We're tearing things down, and people are going, oh, and I'm going. The best of times, you have to break things to fix things, to evolve, and that's where we're at. Anyway, so Babaji to me is this being that periodically comes, and he picks whether it's Krishna or Jesus or Buddha or whoever, and names probably greater capacity people than that we'll never know their names, and different levels of civilization and what generation of they came. He teaches them a special yoga technique, Kriya Yoga, but he also gives them energy and other stuff. There's other gifts they get besides just a meditation technique. But it is said that all the great ones, pretty much the real great ones, because you got a lot of religions out there, like whatever they may be, Scientology or something that's really, really, they're not. It's a different path totally. I don't want to knock them, their path, but the great ones on the main paths, Buddhism or Hindu or whatever, and he taught them, and whether it's Moses or whoever, he was there for them. And so when I talk about Babaji, I'm not talking about the sacred old holy guy or something. I'm talking about Babaji, who's kind of like a emanation of Shiva himself here. And if there's any difference between them, I don't know if there is. So it's, Russian cup is not a Russian cup; it's still a Russian cup. It's still.
Yeah, that's a good lead into.
Yeah,
sorry to cut you.
No, that's okay. But, so Babaji to me is much bigger than I'm listening to these other people. I'm going, but you don't beat up anybody. What people think and what they believe is faith. Let it go. It doesn't change what Babaji is, because I may even be underestimating all that Babaji could be or is. And then, of course, you got the feminine aspect of him and his sister, which is they're one and the same. And then that gives that's kind of coming. That feminine energy is growing. See, people forget about her. Babaji's sister. It's, why did Yogananda talk about that in 1946? Nobody even knew about this sister. And all of a sudden, Yogananda kind of throws this feminine energy out there, because the time is coming for the feminine energy to evolve, meaning intuition, love, compassion, bliss, harmony. Those things that we don't need the warrior spirit too much anymore. We got the intellectual, we got the analysis, we got all that, and wisdom and all that. But we now need that motherly, divine goddess energy. And so Babaji is like divided himself, and there's that balance between the feminine and the masculine energies, all divine. And if you only carry one of those, you're not fully developed. So the great ones like Yogananda, he's got the feminine, he's got the masculine energy. There's a real balance. You have to have that mother-father balance within yourself. To me, all this is what Babaji stands for. And so when I talk about the sacredness of Babaji, I get into some deep water, because I really believe this stuff. And it doesn't matter to me not that if it's ever proven or not. It doesn't make any difference. I've been in that presence. I've felt what I needed to know. What's interesting is there's no conversations. It's silence. It's like the story I'm going to get into when I talk about meeting some rishis. Conversation is the worst way to communicate. You're listening, the guy's talking. It's when you merge consciousness. You don't have to ask questions. You don't have to give answers. There's a merging of the consciousness. And you both know what you both know and beyond. So I hope that answers your question in a strange, crazy way.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's very nice, nicely explained. And it's a good segue into the siddhas that you experience, because a lot of people that I know consider Babaji also as a siddha, as a rishi. And some say he was a disciple of Agastya as well as Bogar. But it's